Good morning, first and or third period. I hope you guys all had a great weekend and enjoyed some time off. Now, let's get back to work. Even though I am not there today, I can still teach you guys things. I know you're excited. So, what we're going to do is everyone go ahead and get out your notes, get out a clean sheet of paper. If you do not have a pencil, you may ask a friend. If you do not have a piece of paper, you may ask a friend. It would also help greatly if you had your questions from Friday that we did. We had those 5 questions that you're supposed to work on over the weekend. If you didn't, shame on you. We're going to get them done this week, though, so don't worry too much about it. So a lot of us are having a lot of trouble with unit conversion stuff still, and I understand we don't have a lot of background there. So we are going to go over some basic steps on how to solve every single unit conversion problem, okay? It's still going to require some thinking on your part, but we're going to be able to get things done a lot more easily. Everybody pick up your pencils and write along with me. Number 1, the first thing we are going to do when we solve a unit conversion problem. The first thing we are going to do when we solve a unit conversion problem, okay? We are going to put our start value over 1. And that's to make it into a fraction. So now that we have a fraction, we can multiply like fractions together, and when we multiply fractions together, we can get new and fun answers that we couldn't get before. I know you're all terribly excited, so we're going to keep going. Make sure you're writing this along with me, okay? That means everyone needs to be writing. I can tell some of you are still not writing, even though I'm not there. Everybody needs to be writing. Step number 2. We are going to find conversion factors with the same unit. We are going to find conversion factors with the same unit. The cool thing about me not being there right now is that I can eat Doritos while I teach. Gotta love Cool Ranch. Number 3. We can make fractions with the start unit on the bottom. We make our fractions with start units on the bottom. Making our fractions with our start units on the bottom. Everyone needs to be writing. Everyone needs to be writing. The next thing we do, we multiply the fractions. We multiply them together. We are multiplying our fractions. Next thing, we're going to cancel out the same units. Cancel out the same units. When we have units on the top and on the bottom that are the same, we're going to cancel them out. Next, our final value. Our final value, that means the value that we have when we get done with our units, is going to have the new unit. Final value is going to have new units. And last but not least, we are going to repeat, and then one more time we're going to repeat. And we're going to repeat as many times as we need to have the units that we need in the end. Okay? So once we have gotten to this point, we should start to be guessing a little bit as to what Mr. McHugh is talking about, because I understand some of this might not make a whole lot of sense. I'll give some of you guys another 30 seconds to finish writing this down, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. Gotta love Tuesday afternoon Doritos. Okay, now that we're all done with that, let's go ahead and begin solving the problem that we looked at on Friday. Some of us had a really hard time with this. If you remember correctly, we had, to begin with, 17, right, miles. Miles is not M. Miles is MI. M is just meters. And we don't need meters. What we wanted to go to was decimeters, right? We wanted to go to decimeters. So what do we do first? Let's look back here. We put our start value over 1. Okay, so we have 17 miles, and we're going to put that, boom, over 1. Ta-da! Easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. So let's make sure, if we haven't already done this, everybody is writing this down. Some of us did not do this on Friday, so let's make sure we're writing this down. Even if you've already done this, go ahead and write it down anyways, because it's great practice. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to find conversion factors with the same units. Well, if you looked on page 674 of your textbook, I can't make a G very well on here, can I? Page 6. Yikes, what is that? I don't like that one. There we go. 6, 7, 4. Right? You're going to find your conversion table there. And if you go there, you will find that 17 miles. Oh, excuse me, not 17 miles. You will find that 1 mile is equal to 0.62, or excuse me, 1 kilometer is equal to 0.62 miles. So we're going to set up our little fraction over here. Boop-a-doop. Boop-a-doop. Set up our little fraction over here. We look over here and we say, we found the conversion factor, right? We found the conversion factor. The conversion factor was that 1K, what is that? 1 km is equal to 0. Oh my goodness gracious, Mr. McHugh cannot do this to save his life. 0. Well, it's bad, but it'll work. 0.62 miles. Come on. There we go. You should have plenty of time to write this down because Mr. McHugh's taking forever to write it. So you got 1 kilometer equals 0.62 miles. Okay, we know that. Once we find the conversion factor with the same unit, right? We've got miles up here, we've got miles down here. We know that we're good to go. We make a fraction with the start units on the bottom. Okay, we're going to make our fraction with start units on the bottom. So our start unit, what is our start unit here? Our start unit is 17 miles. 17 miles. So where are we going to put that? We're going to put it on the bottom. We're going to put that on the bottom. So we're going to have 1 km over 0.62 miles. Okay, and when you multiply these together, that's a little multiplication dot. Don't make fun of it. Mr. McHugh's not very good at this yet. Okay, you can make fun of it a little bit. When we do that, we're going to find out that we're going to get 17 miles times kilometers. Okay? Because we know that 17 times 1 is going to give us 17. And we know that miles times kilometers is going to give us miles times kilometers because they're different units. You can't multiply miles and kilometers together and get like kilomiles. That doesn't work. That does not work. We can't do that. We can't make kilomiles, so we have to have miles times kilometers. Now, over the, whoa, not okay. Over, oh, good, whatever. We'll just call it that. That's fine. That's a good enough line, right? Well, that's a good line. On the bottom, we have 1 times 0.62 is going to give us 0.62. Okay? And on the bottom, the only unit we have is miles. That's all we've got, just times miles. Okay? Let's look back over here. We multiplied our fractions. Now we're going to cancel out the same units. Which units are the same on the top and the bottom? On the top, we're going to cancel out miles. And on the bottom, we're going to cancel out miles because we don't need those anymore. I'm going to scroll over here a little bit. So finally, what we get is 17 kilometers. I apologize, my K's are so terrible. They will get better with time. 17 kilometers over 0.62. Okay? And we know that 17 divided by 0.62, we go over here to our handy-dandy calculator, or as Mr. Lennon calls it, the idiot box. We do 17 divided by 0.62. And that's going to give us, bam, 27.42, we'll call it. We will call that 27.42. Okay, 27.42, and our unit's going to be kilometers. Okay? Now, we've gotten it to kilometers. We have gotten it down to kilometers. We still need to get it down from kilometers to meters and from meters to decimeters. If you'll recall, if you will recall, there are 1,000, this is so not good looking, 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Okay, and there are 0.1 decimeters, we'll call them DCMs, in 1 meter. Okay? Now that should give you guys, oh, that's terrible. That should give you guys a pretty good idea of where to go from here. Okay? If you follow the same 7 instructions that we did up here up top, then you will be just fine getting all the way down to decimeters. Okay? If you have any other trouble at all, give this a shot. Try these different steps over here. Okay? Repeat, repeat, repeat. Try all these different steps and see if you can make that happen. See if you can get that done, and we will move on tomorrow when we get back. So continue to try to solve these problems. Use the formula I gave you today. Follow all the different steps, and we will finish this up later on this week. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a good one.